Welcome to Bible Prophecy Now with Rabbi Joe Bell. In this program, Rabbi Bell presents a clearer understanding of prophecies, past, present, and future. In this time of utter confusion and dread, tune in to Bible Prophecy Now with Rabbi Joe Bell for greater insights of the truth of God's Word and God's prophetic timing. Now join us and let's learn together. And now, Rabbi Joe Bell.
Hey everybody, welcome to this special edition. We're going to have a series of this special edition of Living Faith now with Rabbi Joe Bell. And what this is all about is prophecy. We're seeing for several years now, we've seen and we are seeing the Middle East, as you say, heat up. We're seeing particular actions. Rabbi Joe has had the Lord show him some things, and I want to get into that. As a matter of fact, Brother Joe has even spoken about this at conferences. He's written about it. By the way, congratulations to Brother Joe here on Charisma Magazine, and you're even writing a book, authoring a book. And that's one of my favorite things is when somebody authors a book. I just appreciate that. God authored the Bible. Satan authors his own books too. Satan's just a copycat and a poor rendition of that. And so, but see, Satan's not original. God is the creator. He's our everything, and he's our Savior. I don't want to waste any time with just me talking. I've even got notes here I want to follow that we're specific with this and these programs. Please follow along, and there's no better time than when you're seeing it and experiencing it and someone telling you, not only you see what's happening, but you see prophetically as Rabbi Joe Bell is describing and what God has shown him. And here's what I like about prophecy is when it's spoken ahead of time and then comes true not too long after. Let's face it, some prophecies are there's centuries away from being answered and fulfilling. But these are being answered, I won't say by the minute, but by just a very few months, a very few years. Welcome, brother, and let's I'm going to put you on the hot seat here, okay?
Thank you, Brother
And
Mike.
I want to do something very quick. Please tell us your address. Where can these people, we're going to hit it again here in a little bit, but what is the address and website for you?
Okay, well, our address, and I think Aaron can pull it up and put it on the screen, but it's P.O. Box 1486, Bristol, Tennessee, and 37621 for Zion's Sake Ministries, P.O. Box 1486, Bristol, Tennessee 37621, and our website is www.zionsake.org, and I think you all have that. The station has that information, so they can put that on the screen.
They can call here at any time. We will give it to them. But I want you to get your pen and paper, make a note of it, record this, whatever you can do. But I want to be able to make this happen whereby we are getting on with this program. What I want to do right now is I'm going to follow the notes here, okay? You started with us the program for Bible prophecy with Rabbi Joe. Well, a year ago.
Almost.
Just, yeah.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing I want to get to. Mm-hmm. You, Joey, we're friends. Rabbi, you honestly, you predicted back in February 2016, 9 months before Donald Trump was ushered into office, okay? And not only that, you got specific. You said that he was going to destroy Iran's nuclear program.
Mm-hmm.
You said that he was going to destroy their military, their weapons, their government, and even their Ayatollah.
Yes.
How did you know those things?
Well, Brother Mike, I was, in 2015, every time I opened the Bible, I was going through a relapse of cancer. And every time I opened the Bible, you know, almost literally every time I opened to Daniel chapter 8. Now, everybody knows Daniel 9 about the 70 weeks of Daniel, and they know, a lot of people know about the Messiah being cut off before the destruction of the second temple. But not many people know much about Daniel 8. If you ask the average person, I think, what does Daniel 8 talk about? Most people would shake their heads and say, gee, I don't remember. It's not a very common chapter, in other words, like John 3. I was opening the Bible and reading this chapter, Daniel 8, and I prayed, Lord, what is it you're trying to show me? What is it you want to say to me about this chapter? You know, the traditional teaching, and as I look over there on the wall, is a kind of a chart of history, of biblical history, and a lot of it has to do with Daniel and Revelation. And, you know, that is what's commonly taught. What's on that chart is what's commonly taught, and most people just accept it. You know, they just accept what's commonly taught. They don't question it. They don't fast and pray about it. But I did. I went to prayer. I went to fasting. I went to really seeking God. What is it you're trying to say to me? And he started telling me, Joe, chapter 8 is an end-time prophecy. And the way you know is in Daniel 8:17, when the angel Gabriel comes to Daniel, and this is what he says to him 3 times. He says, so he came near, the angel Gabriel, where I stood. When he came, I was afraid and fell on my face. But he said to me, understand, son of man, that the vision that you had, Daniel, refers to the time of the end. And then in Hebrew, that's the Le'et Ketz. Le'et Ketz means the very end of days, the end of this age, okay? So he's saying to him, Daniel, this prophecy is not for you, for your generation. You're not going to see it fulfilled in your lifetime. It's not even going to be anywhere near your lifetime. It's for the very end of the age. Alexander the Great, who everybody interprets this chapter to be about, and Darius III, they lived about 150 years, give or take, after Daniel. Mm-hmm. You know, that's not a long time. But the prophets, the angel says, this is for the very end of days. And then he says, he goes on, now as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep with my face to the ground, but he touched me and stood me upright. And he said, look, I'm making known to you what shall happen in the latter time of the indignation, for the appointed time the end shall be. So he's talking about the very end, the time of the indignation, the time when the temple, when the Antichrist sets himself up in the temple as God. He's saying that's when these events are going to take place. Well, that's now, Brother Mike. And I can show you, I'm going to show you before we're through with this, where you'll see the Antichrist is coming very shortly after Donald Trump. And after Trump finishes his work, because I believe he doesn't know that he's a man of God, but he's a man of God. He's being used by God.
Yeah.
He is being used of God, and he has a prophetic destiny. He doesn't even, I don't even think he fully understands it. I mean, if you look at Donald Trump compared to the guy who was the playboy of the early 80s and 1980s, you know, swinging playboy, going to Studio 54 in New York City, the disco, and, you know, being seen with all the stars. And then he did The Apprentice, and you're fired, you know, and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, he's the most intense, serious president up there with FDR, John F. Kennedy. I mean, when I say, I'm not talking about politically like Democrat, Republican. I'm saying as far as dealing with crises in the world, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, men who had to take on huge world crises or national crises.
Now, let me interject right there,
Sure.
Brother Joe. During their times, we look back on those men you spoke of lovingly.
Yeah.
But during each of their respective times, they were hated by a good number of people.
They killed Lincoln.
Yes, very much hated by a good number of people. So it wasn't like they were floating around on a carpet of love.
Right.
They had battles, and I'm with you there.
Exactly. I mean, he is, for 47 years, Brother Mike, Iran has been at war with the United States. I remember as a boy when they took the hostages at the embassy. I think it was about 40 hostages, give or take, at the U.S. embassy in Iran. And they took them captive when we were young fellas, and Jimmy Carter couldn't get them out. Ronald Reagan, the day that Ronald Reagan was inaugurated was the day that Iran set them free, just to kind of, stick it to Jimmy Carter.
They knew somebody serious was coming online.
Maybe that's what it was too.
Yeah.
So anyhow, they've been at war with us. They've been building their weaponry. Now, there's a couple of reasons they've been building their weaponry, and may I share that with you?
Oh, please.
So Iraq went to war with Iran in the 1980s, and before the first Gulf War. And Iraq they defeated the Iranians, and they sent them home with their tails between their legs and killed thousands of them. And the Iranians Iraq is a smaller country than Iran, but the Iraqi military under Saddam Hussein crushed the Iranians. And the Ayatollah at the time, Ayatollah Khomeini, not Khamenei, he swore we were never going to let that happen again. So he ordered his scientists and his military to develop weapons, to develop nuclear weapons. And that's when they began their nuclear program in the 1980s, Brother Mike. But not only that, then this idea of the 12th Imam came into play, where somehow, and this has to do with ISIS as well, and I wrote an article called The Great End Time Islamic War, in which I teach about Sunni Islam and Shia Islam.
Now, these are available to people that will partner with your ministry.
Yes, I have. For anyone who would donate $40 or more, I will send them all the original messages that I did of this pertaining to this prophecy. All the teach them about Islam and these articles.
And the thing I like about this is these are the original. It's not like you're going, okay, I think I said something back then. You've got the proof that you said this back
Here's
then.
one called The Sign, okay?
Okay.
Now, I wrote this, you see here, August, September 2024.
Yes.
The Sign, War with Iran and the Fall of America. There is one event that will change world history more than any other event to come, save the return of Jesus Christ. What event is that, you ask? The event will impact the future of America and ultimately bring down the United States and the free world, is the coming war with Iran. As I write this article, Iran is planning to attack Israel. This was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And or ships in the Middle East due to Israel killing the leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, because of course back then Israel was at war with Hamas, and so Hamas leader was in Iran, and Israel, they're so incredibly amazing, their intelligence, they knew where he was, and they destroyed him. They killed the man. They blew up everybody in the room. And so Basically, I said that Donald Trump was coming. He wasn't president yet. This is 2024, September. He hadn't been elected. And here I'm telling people, yeah, he's going to be elected, and he's going to attack Iran, and he's going to go to war, and it's going to affect America. And I don't want to go there right. If we can, I'd like to build a foundation before we get to that. But it's going to affect us in a big way. It already is. Look at the gas prices. Look at the stock market. Look at look at just people. The American people are already. Donald Trump, and I'm not. I don't want to be political, but I am a conservative. I believe I'm pro-life. I'm an evangelical Messianic Jew. In other words, I believe in most of the things that I guess traditional evangelical Christians believed in. Things are changing these days. A lot of churches, even guys like, big pastors, I won't name names, but there's one who has a huge church in Southern California. I think many of you know who I may be talking about. And he, he's pro homosexual and welcomes homosexuals into his church unconditionally. Well, I don't have a problem. My sister was gay. She was a lesbian, and she was my favorite sister. She was my older sister. She was 18 years older than me. She was the closest relative I had besides my parents, Brother Mike, and we got along great, provided we didn't talk about two things: Jesus and Donald Trump. If we didn't talk about Jesus and Donald Trump, and I didn't bring up, things that bugged me about her, like abortion, and she was pro-abortion, and LGBTQ, all this stuff, I don't know.
An alphabet person.
Yeah, I didn't know her alphabet. Anyway, we got along great. We had a great relationship. I loved her. She loved me. And when she asked me about those things, I told her I would share about Jesus, that He's the Son of God, that He was crucified on Passover, that He was buried for 3 days and 3 nights, and that He rose from the dead on the 3rd day, and that whoever puts their trust in Him, and the Bible says if we believe in our hearts and we confess with our mouths that Yeshua, the Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth, is Lord, that we will be saved. Amen? And so I would share these things only when she would talk about it. So, friends, I hope you're saved. If you're watching and you don't know who Jesus is, He is the Messiah of not only Israel, but of the nations of the world. He's the King of the Jews. He's the King of kings and the Lord of lords. And if you want to have peace in your life and you are struggling with the tensions and the stresses that are going on with all these wars and people losing their jobs and the shutdown, the government shutdown, maybe you're a TSA worker or a Coast Guard worker, you're not getting paid, and you need hope and you need answers. Jesus is the answer, and that's who I found in 1996, Brother Mike. I wasn't looking for Jesus. He was looking for me.
He found you.
Yes.
Praise the Lord.
Did I answer your question?
You did, and I love it when you add in there. But
but just to finish that point
Go
that
ahead.
you asked me, God dropped a revelation on me about this chapter, and Gabriel confirms it that the prophecy was not. It's traditionally talking about, that the beast that Daniel sees in chapter 7 is talking about. I think that I can barely see that sign, that map you've got on the wall of revelation of the Word. But there's a picture of the Roman Empire, and it's like a lion. It's the beast is I guess the beast is the lion, and you know, with 7 horns on top of its head there, and then it shows all these different animals that represent different countries. And I would say in Daniel's time, those are the countries they represented. For example, the lion with the wings represented Babylon when Daniel was living in the Babylonian Empire. Babylon's symbol was the lion with the wings of an eagle. However, there is no Babylon today, and yet the prophecy is an end-time prophecy, according to the angel Gabriel. So that means who then in this day and age is the lion with the wings? Who is the leopard, the body of the beast? Who are the bear's feet? You know, the feet of the bear that are the feet of the beast. Who is the lion's face? And so God began to reveal to me that the beast, every nation, and I wrote a couple articles on the beast, one called The Rise of the Beast and another one called The Attack of the Beast. This one here.
And people may want to be able to watch this. You can watch his program. We're going to put it on at different times, but your specific program is at, forgive me.
Tuesday nights at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
And Thursday nights at 7 p.m.
7.
Right here on Living Faith Television.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, God began to reveal to me that this is in 20, I think it was 2022 or 2021.
That's the one out in front of the
United Nations. Yeah. And so Mexico, and Aaron can put up a picture, or Austin if he knows, if either one, I'm not sure who does it, but they can put up a picture of this colorful beast that was gifted by Mexico to the United Nations. You can see him right, there he is, right there. And, you know, he was gifted, that statue of the beast, with the face of a lion, with the body of a leopard, with the wings of an eagle, and with the feet of a bear, was gifted to the United Nations in the fall, in November of 2021. And by December, 1 month later, they took it down. Now, the reason they took it down is because many thousands of Christians complained about it, Brother Mike, and they were outraged that this statue of the beast of Revelation and Daniel, the beast also first appears in Daniel 7, comes out of the ocean, and the ocean represents the nations, the multitude of the nations. And the Antichrist, on contrast, comes out of the dirt of the earth. He rises up out of the earth. The soil, the earth, represents man. So it's showing us that the Antichrist is a man, but the beast represents nations. So every one of those animals that we see on the beast, it's like a Dr. Frankenstein. You know how he took different body parts, Brother Mike, and he sewed them together and created, this is fictional, but created Frankenstein's monster. So that's the same thing that, you know, essentially, maybe he got the idea from the beast, because the beast is body parts of all these different animals, beasts, you know, lions, tigers, leopards, bears.
Maybe that's where the author got it from, Frankenstein.
Yeah, maybe even in The Wizard of Oz, lions and tigers and bears.
They're borrowing from the Bible, and like I told you, Satan is a counterfeit.
There you go. So anyway, you know, but I'm getting ahead here with talking about the beast and stuff. But the bottom line with Daniel was an end-time prophet. He was the first prophet to foretell, to show us the beast of Revelation. He was the first prophet to show us the clouds rolling back and the Lord coming in the clouds with power and great glory in Daniel 7. Mm-hmm. He was the first prophet besides John, the only prophet besides John, to show us the judgment seat of God and Jesus coming down from on high, from the clouds, to receive his kingdom and to for his dominion would be everlasting, it says in Daniel 7. So what's my point? Daniel, he talked about the 70 weeks. And Daniel was reading Jeremiah when he was in exile, and he was reading Jeremiah, and he said, Jeremiah predicted that there would be 70 years of exile, and Daniel was reading Jeremiah. I don't have the verse here, but we can look it up. But anyway, you can look it up too, folks. Daniel was reading Jeremiah, and he saw that Jeremiah said that Israel would be in captivity for 70 years. And so Daniel counted the years from the exile from 586 to 516, and he said, this is it. This is 516. We're going home. We're going back to Israel, to Jerusalem. Somehow it's time to go home. And sure enough, King Cyrus, who was the Persian emperor at that time, Babylon was no longer an empire, and Persia had overtaken Babylon in chapter 5 of Daniel. And so the Persian king Cyrus freed the Jews. If you read Ezra chapter 1, it tells the story right there in Ezra chapter 1 about how King Cyrus freed the Jewish people and sent them back to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is the type of stuff, forgive me for calling it stuff, but this is the type of topic, theological topics, that are fascinating to people, and probably the average person is more attuned to prophecy than the average person just 10 years ago, just way more than in the 70s. You would hear people talking, but now you can see it, like a teacher standing over you, not just instructing you, but showing, oh, okay, here, it's hands-on almost, what we're seeing now. And would you do this? Would you go to Rabbi Joe's For Zion's Sake Ministry? Would you go to his website? And would you partner with Brother Joe on this? But now he's kind of being caught up now in more of a national and international flavor. But he got started right here on Living Faith TV. Quit laughing over there, Brother Joe. But we're thankful for that, because I love and I'm proud of our people. Now then, we're out of time. We're going to do a part 2, so stay tuned.
You've been watching Bible Prophecy Now with Rabbi Joe Bell. Please join us next week at this same time and place for more regarding today's world events and prophecy. To contact Rabbi Bell, please go to www.forzionsake.org. Rabbi Bell's mailing address is For Zion's Sake Ministries, P.O. Box 1486, Bristol, Tennessee 37620. Until next week, Shalom.